Yes, we just gotta wait here patiently. Then we'll start. We'll probably start a minute after.
Will we know when people have joined?
You should do, yes.
We'll start anyway. For the integrity of the recording.
Yeah.
We'll start.
We'll just give it a couple more seconds.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to start kicking it off then. Hi everybody. Thank you very much for joining us, and it's good to see quite a few of you here. I know you can't see each other. That's because we've turned mics off and cameras off so we can just focus on our two fantastic speakers. And I'll let them introduce themselves shortly. We've only got 30 minutes today, so if there are any questions, do ask them in the questions tab. And if we don't get round to answering them, we'll follow up separately after the event. So the webinar today, it's part of our brand new content series at GoodPay. It's all about doing good in the workplace. So that's where throughout the year we'll be producing and sharing lots of content. So guides, Q&A videos, webinars, etc. All about doing good and sharing good in the workplace. As well as spotlighting incredible people and organisations doing inspiring stuff, hence why we've got the wonderful Mindy with us today. So this session is something that's quite personal to GoodPay because it's all about doing your bit and supporting charities. So without further ado, very quick introductions. If you wouldn't mind kicking off, Mindy, just introducing yourself, and then I'll hand over to Tony.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thanks for organizing this. I just do my little thing. I try to do good work in the world, so thanks for that. I run several businesses, but the giving 1% concept that came to me during the pandemic kind of just took hold and forced me to pay attention. So I've been doing quite a lot of work on that. And so now I guess I'm a social entrepreneur as well as an entrepreneur. And very happy to chat about giving, charitable giving, regular charitable giving, and our initiative.
Amazing. Thank you, Mindy. Tony, over to you.
Yeah, fantastic. And Mindy, it's an absolute pleasure to have you join us today. Thank you for doing this with us. So yes, I'm Tony, I'm Chief Exec of GoodPay. We are a charity-backed tech for good business on a mission to transform giving at work by making payroll giving accessible to every employee across the UK.
Amazing. Thank you. Thanks very much, Bud. So let's kick off then with the first question. And Mindy, I'll come over to you for this one. So what sparked the Giving 1% movement and why does it resonate?
Oh, gosh. During the pandemic, when some of us had a bit more time, this thought suddenly occurred to me that went something like this. I know that over the years, my income has really gone up, which is great, but I don't think my giving has kept up. Now, I set some automatic payments, some standing orders to charities, and then I just didn't think about them. And every month they went out. But as my income was bigger, they became a smaller percentage. And I just wasn't thinking about it. So I did a little calculation to see what my giving number was, what percentage of my net income am I giving? And I was really shocked because it was 0.5%. And I felt awful to be keeping 99.5% of my money. So I did a few things about that. increased some of my donations, but then I just couldn't stop. I started talking to people. Lots of people were intrigued, and I thought I'll set up a website, and I had lots of kind donations of services, and that's where it started about 2 years ago.
That's great. Thanks, Mindy. And it's yeah, it's a really, really good concept because it changes the way that you're thinking about giving. I don't think I've ever thought what my giving number is, so it really makes you think. Okay, yeah, thanks, Mindy. Thanks for that introduction. So it kind of moves on to this second question that I had, and it's about shifting the mindset from giving something up to investing in something meaningful. So I think sometimes that people have this blocker when they're looking to donate because they get quite rightly they get quite protective over their money and they don't want to give anything up. So is it about changing that mindset to saying actually donating to charities, actually it's more about investing in something rather than giving something up?
That's such a cool word to use in this context, investing. Because many people I work with are business folks, professionals and entrepreneurs, and we know how to invest. So it really is about sharing the wealth because people of means, let's say a third of the working population, are probably in a position to donate more than they are. This is just based on many conversations and a few surveys we've done. So they aren't thinking about it right now, but the moment people are asked to think about it, they know what's the right thing to do. And there's no, when I say right thing, I don't mean 1% is the right figure. It's just about giving consciously. And there are, I know we'll chat about where people should give and how, but it really is about taking a moment to think, I'm a giving, caring person. Am I actually sharing my abundant wealth? Many people may not feel they have it, but a large number of people do have some disposable income. Tony, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So I think I've worked in fundraising now for over 20 years, right? And it's very different to buying something that you're going to use, order a jumper or something you're going to wear, something practical or material. It's much more about inspiring people to give to causes that mean something to them. And I think fundamentally, having worked in fundraising for this long, people are by nature generous and people do care about others. Everyone does. And often it's actually just about talking to them and getting them thinking about it more, I guess, just triggering thoughts that then inspire them to donate, and making it easy for them to do so as well. I think that's a really key thing. It's about not having a long drawn out process, but letting them make their own decision about the cause that mean most to them. And everyone's been touched by a charity or some cause in some way, through either themselves or through a charity. And typically people do want to give back when they've benefited from something themselves anyway, or they've seen others benefit from it. So it's interesting. It's not about, for me, it's never about giving something up. It's actually just about inspiring people and making it easy for them to give to the causes that mean the most to them.
That's great. Yeah, thanks both. Okay, so talking more about actually putting this giving 1% movement into action. So this question, I think I'm going to push over to you, Tony. Why do you think the workplace is pivotal for movements like the Giving 1%?
It's a really good question. And I think, like to Mindy's point, the Giving 1% is a really fantastic idea, but I don't think the 1% is the most important thing here. It's actually about getting people to think about giving at all, and as far as like what they can afford to give, right? And I think increasingly in the workplace, companies are expected to show their values and their commitment to making social impact, particularly now that lines have become a bit more blurred between work and home life. And there needs to be, I guess it's even more important for business to create that positive, values-driven workplace culture when people are spending less time in the office. And actually in their home life and in their personal life, often people do have that, well, they are driven by their values, right? So the workplace increasingly needs to reflect that. And if we look at, the rise of the B Corp movement in the UK, the big drive towards corporate social responsibility and businesses, wanting to make commitments and report on them and track them and measure their own impact, I think the workplace is only going to have an increasing importance for movements like Giving 1% and for charitable work in general. And I think that shift is right. I think, clearly businesses exist to make profit, to drive value for shareholders, and to, deliver the best possible service. But actually, it can't just be about that. And I think, as if we look at today's workforce, businesses' credentials around driving social impacts are increasingly important for recruitment, retention, and ultimately employee motivation and productivity as well. So I think it is a virtuous circle. I think the businesses that can demonstrate the biggest commitment to driving social impact moving forwards will be the ones that have the happiest, most engaged and most productive workforce, and will ultimately save them money as well. In terms of payroll giving, which is what GoodPay obviously exists to do, payroll giving in the UK, and I know we've got a lot of people internationally attending this webinar, but in the UK, payroll giving is the most tax efficient way for any individual to donate to charity. So the way it works is the charity benefits from whatever your personal rate of tax is. So if you're a higher rate taxpayer, the charity would get 45% extra on top of your donation. So just in terms of the UK framework, it's really pivotal for any kind of movements to promote charitable giving, because it means that you're, as a business, you're giving your employees the opportunity to drive the maximum possible impact they can through their donations because of the tax benefits on offer. So really, I feel that a lot more focus needs to be going into workplace giving, because it will generate, pound for pound, the most impact for any individual in the UK. Mindy, I don't know if you've got anything to add to that.
I haven't worked for an organization for about 23 years. However, I do remember giving from my paycheck. And the best thing about it for me was I could choose the charity that would benefit, and it would go out, and I just didn't have to think about it, and I never missed that money. So we're talking about, are you giving something up? Not really, because you can live on, most people can live on whatever, 98% of their income. But it was just because the employer made it so easy. And for me, that's the biggest benefit. Tax, yeah, but if somebody makes my life easy, they win.
Yeah, I think that's a really key point. And I think, like, now, ultimately, employees cannot donate through their pay unless their employer signs up for payroll giving. So I do feel that there is a big onus on employers to set up a program and offer the benefit to their employees, because we know that lots of employees engage with it when it's there for them. Now, lots of employees, sadly, in the UK at least, are totally unaware. Lots of employers and businesses are unaware of payroll giving. And it's one of the core challenges we face as an industry, but it also represents a huge opportunity. So if more employers sign up to offer payroll giving to their employees, to not only offer the benefits to employees, but also the benefits to their business, I feel that we can have transformative impact on civil society in the UK. And I think if you look at the numbers, at the moment, less than 4% of the UK population give through payroll giving. Yet that generates over £120 million a year. Now, if you compare that to 31% who donate via direct debit, if you were just to flip those two rounds, the tax benefits alone, at no extra cost to the individual, would result in hundreds of millions of extra pounds going into civil society every year. So there's a huge opportunity to drive real transformative change. And what I like about the Giving 1% movement is very much about bringing people together, opening their minds to, you know, what they can achieve and what their contribution to the greater whole will be. And I do hope that this is something that's going to be growing within payroll giving as well.
Thank you. That was great. That was great. And I think I'm coming over to you again, Tony, now, because we couldn't do this webinar without kind of talking about Payroll Giving Month, which is kicking off in a couple of days. Mindy, quite right. I was saying next month earlier, but that is literally in a couple of days. So Tony, can you just kind of tell us a little bit about Payroll Giving Month and its importance?
Sure. So Payroll Giving Month is in February every year. It's a sector-wide initiative to drive awareness and raise the profile of payroll giving, and ultimately to get more businesses to sign up and offer this benefit to their employees. So I talked a minute ago about the lack of awareness of payroll giving, and the idea behind Payroll Giving Month is to drive awareness. I think, you know, payroll giving is a government-backed tax scheme. It's been around since 1987. But as I said a minute ago, less than 4% of people donate via a payroll in the UK. If we looked at a number, say everyone in the UK gave 1% of their salary to charity via payroll giving, I think we're talking about billions of pounds of extra income for the charity sector, which is really, really significant and genuinely transformative. And it's something that's really exciting if we can be part of achieving that. And that's why, Mindy, it's great to have you as part of this, because I think the idea of giving 1%, if we overlaid that across a mechanism to make it easy to give in the most tax efficient way, then we can achieve great things, right?
More great things.
Yeah. So I feel Payroll Giving Month is the perfect opportunity to enable employees to donate to charity in the most impactful way. Typically what happens is organizations such as us and other people actively involved in the sector will run webinars. They'll run specific promotions to clients to try and get their clients, like their businesses, to engage with payroll giving and promote it more to their employees. On Monday, I think we're launching a nationwide petition urging UK businesses to offer the scheme to their employees. We're expecting quite a lot of national press coverage across the month, which is what's happened in previous years. And I know a lot of the charities themselves will be actively promoting Payroll Giving Month next month.
Amazing. Thanks, Tony. So, question about motivations and drivers to give. So what do you think truly drives people to give? Is it personal values, life experiences, or something else? So head over to you, Mindy.
Yeah, thank you. I have had a lot of conversations, as you can imagine. And the first thing that I would say is our little project, our website, is just a place for people to come, do a calculation and reflect, because people are always saying, you know, where's the money going? And I have to say to them, we're not taking any money. We're not asking for your money. We're not taking, you know, we're completely agnostic. So then that kind of gets them into a different mode. And then I get to say, like Tony shared before, people will give to the causes they care about. And people start nodding because there's always a cause they care about. It can be because of something that's happened to them, to a relative, to a pet, to their house, who knows? And we don't judge, and we don't try to direct their giving mindset, for example. You know, it's a very individual decision, how much they give, if they give, how much, and where. I've also found that people will give because it feels good. So you could say it's selfish in a way as well. Whether people are religious or not, they've probably heard somewhere that it's better to give than to receive. Actually, both are good. But the giving concept is in our society. And I really think that it's not that people are not good people, they just forget, like I did. I felt terrible when I did the calculation and I realized that I'd just forgotten about giving and it was just going out of my bank, even if it goes out of your payroll. And to latch on to what you guys are promoting, you still need to review it every now and then. So our site is a good place to do that and figure out what percentage you could be giving, not to say should, but could. And yeah, to feel good about yourself, to be that good person that I know you are. And that's what I say to people when I'm talking about them. I enjoy speaking about giving, but regular charitable giving. I was invited to do a TEDx talk in St. Albans, which is online if people want to watch it. And one of the striking points for folks was the fact that people just didn't have it in their budget. And so they would give, when it's Red Nose Day or when they're inspired, when a friend is running a marathon, that sort of thing. But charities need real money every single month. And that's why I keep pushing this message. And once people get that, they say, oh, of course, that makes sense. So, giving in, I'm going to say something naughty here, giving in your will is great, but what can you do while you're alive?
Yeah. No, thanks, Mindy. What about you, Tony?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think everyone's got their own personal motivations to give, right? And I think, personal experience is a big one. Family and your own like personal belief system is obviously a massive driver, and that might come from your family, like religious background, just the kind of society that you've been brought up in. As I said, I've been in fundraising in the charity sector for over 20 years. And from a purely personal basis, my involvement in the charity sector was motivated by the fact that charities helped me when I was younger. So I had a spinal tumor when I was 13 years old, was told I'd never walk again. Great Ormond Street were the first charity I came across who helped me. They operated on me and looked after me really well. And then a charity called WizKids brought me my first sports wheelchair. And I got into wheelchair sports and got a lot of personal benefit and growth from that whole experience. So from quite a young age, well, formative years, I've had, charities help me in a way where my family didn't have the means to help me or the ability to help me. And that's my personal motivation to kind of be involved in the charity sector. But everyone, the point I'm trying to make is everyone has these experiences. Everyone's lives are touched by charities or organizations helping people that they know in some way. And I think that's ultimately what drives people. I think like you used a really good phrase a minute ago, Mindy, about it's not that people aren't good, they are. It's just about being reminded about it. And it's about having the headspace in our really busy lives. Yeah. We've all got busy lives in different ways, but to actually sit back and reflect and think about what we're doing in this area in terms of like giving to charity and engaging with social causes. And I think we just need to have time to reflect. And I think the Giving 1% movement is a really good way of making that quite tangible, actually, and making people think about it in quite a straightforward way, which is also a really good thing.
Absolutely. Okay. Next question is, what's your call to action for individuals and businesses to amplify this movement? So it's all well and good kind of just talking about it, but what's the action? What's the action here? So Mindy, what do you want people to do?
So my work has always been and continues to be about individuals. And I'm speaking to every individual, even when I do keynote speeches. It's the individual who makes the decision. If we're talking about an HR individual, I'm sure Tony will have, or a payroll person, Tony can say something about that. But I think in parallel with what businesses can set up to facilitate this regular charitable giving, the individual can actually drive it also. So anybody who's listening to us now who is an employee, you have the ability to bring this to your organization. Just because you're not in charge of payroll doesn't mean you can't suggest ideas, and this is a really good one. So my call to action is consider what you're currently giving as an individual from your salary or income. And do the calculation if you really, we make it easy. There's a few videos. There's just, we're proud of the initiative, but we need to raise awareness. So help us do that. Giving1%.com. My vision is to have millions of people know about the site, do the calculation, and know their giving number. And then if they want to increase that, they can click a simple button that says, yes, I commit. Then they can give through their employer giving scheme. So that's where they need that to either be set up, and that's where both of our efforts come together. But the individual is key, because we have 33 million tax-paying individuals in the UK. It's my estimation that 10 million of them, so I'm not going to say all like Tony did, a third, 10 million, could be giving either from their payroll, or I'm talking to the founders and entrepreneurs now or sole traders, from their net income, just from your bank. Everybody can do this. Tony?
Yeah, so I think our call to action is really quite straightforward, which is that we would like businesses to sign up to payroll giving and offer payroll giving as an employee benefit to their staff. I think businesses increasingly have a responsibility to offer the benefits that their employees want. We know there's growing demand for payroll giving based on our conversations, not only with businesses we work with, but also with benefits platforms that we work with. And I guess GoodPay was set up to make it as easy and as simple a decision as possible. So we can set you up as a business in less than half an hour. Our platform is free to use for all businesses, and very, very quick to administer on a monthly basis. And it's a great way of giving employees the ability to give to charity in the most impactful way, which I think every individual would want. Every individual, especially when you're giving money away, rather than receiving something, you want to be very clear that the impact you're having is the maximum possible impact, and giving through payroll giving enables that. So yeah, please get in touch with us if you'd like a demonstration or to talk more about how we could get your business offering payroll giving.
Brilliant, thank you. I think we're coming to the end, which is great because we bang on time. So I'm going to just end on this slide. So I've just put our websites on here. So it's our GoodPay one at the top. If you want to book in a demo, we've got the Giving 1% website as well for what Mindy just said. You can go on and you can calculate your giving. And then I've also put a link on here to the petition that Tony mentioned right at the beginning of this event as well. So yes, we've got just 2 minutes left in case anybody had any questions. So if anyone did have any questions, please put them in the either the chat function or the Q&A tab, and we can try and answer them. So just give a couple of seconds to see if any come through.
I have a simple question which people ask me all the time, and that is, are you telling people what to give? And of course, we're not. I hope I made that clear. And because 1% can be confusing, it can sound like we're suggesting. It's a starting point. And usually most people, when they do their calculation, they realize just what a small number that is. And then lots of people have a higher number, like the tithing, tzedakah, zakat, dana, all those religious initiatives, they actually used to suggest 10%. My personal goal at the moment is 5. I'm nearly at 5. That's what I'm doing, but we do not put pressure on anybody. I hope that was clear.
No, I think that's good to point out. I mean, and it's the same with GoodPay as well. I think what we say is that organisations should run a scheme. They should make it available to their employees, and I think that's what Tony was saying earlier about the duty. I mean, for employees to donate this way, the employer has to have it set up. But so it's just as you as the employer, just make it available, make it accessible. It's the employee's choice at the end of the day. Tony, any last? We haven't had any questions come through. So any last kind of closing comments at all?
No, just to reiterate that obviously payroll giving is about giving people the ability to donate in a very easy way, but it is all personal choice. So you can donate to any charity registered in the UK, from your big national charities to a local hospice. It's all about personal choice. And yeah, I just to reiterate everything that Mindy was saying, it's about trying to make giving possible and easy rather than prescribing what you should or shouldn't donate to. It's just being respectful of the personal choice element.
Amazing. Perfect. I think we're going to end the session there. I will be sending the recording out to everybody, and also including the links as well. So thanks everybody for attending, and I hope you enjoyed those 30 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you both. Thanks both. Goodbye now. Bye.